So we have this list of these 6 divine attributes. Big deal, right? Actually, yeah. Really big deal. Because now we have a standard, at least 6 of them, to hold these other applicants against to see who makes the cut and who doesn't. Job interview, right? And you know what's really great? That idea couldn't be more biblical. Listen to how Isaiah describes false gods in his book. Set forth your case, says the Lord. Bring your proofs, says the King of Jacob. Let them bring them, and tell us what is to happen. Tell us the former things, what they are, that we may consider them, that we may know their outcome, or declare to us the things to come. Tell us what is to come hereafter, and we may know that you are gods. Do good, or do harm, that we may be dismayed and terrified. Behold, you are nothing, and your work is less than nothing. An abomination is he who chooses you. You heard it right, folks. That is the Bible encouraging you to test the claims of other gods. And again, it makes sense, right? To hold them to the standard that they are claiming to possess. Because you can't just say you're God. You have to back it up. John will say it this way. He'll say in the New Testament that we are called to test the spirits. And I love that about Christianity. Again, a thinking man's religion. God isn't interested in dullards. He's interested in thinkers. Men and women who don't just believe everything they're told. They think about it. They think it through. They go looking for answers to the questions that they themselves possess. God isn't afraid of your questions because He knows that He holds the answers. So let's do that now, shall we? Let's take those gods, those other claimants to the throne, the applicants at our job interview, let's hold them to the standards that we have set up, these 6 attributes, and ask ourselves, do they fit? Well, I think right off the bat, we can immediately eliminate all the polytheistic religions. Why? Because polytheistic gods are created gods. Think about it. Greek mythology, Norse mythology, Hinduism, and those are some big, big examples. There are plenty of others, but those are some big ones. In all of those systems, these gods are born, and some even die. That's the first one out of the gate. God has to be what? Eternal. They're not eternal, therefore they're not God. Okay, so what else are we left with? Well, let's consider the God of the pantheistic religions. You might know these as more of the New Age religions, or the religious system of the Native Americans, where God is expressed and contained within nature. God is in the rock. He's in the tree. I know, I'm quoting Yoda now, right? But here's the thing. The idea of God being in pantheistic terms would certainly meet the qualification of God being all-present, because His presence fills all of nature simultaneously. But it kind of falls short on the other ones, doesn't it? Because the idea of God being in all of nature, well, what does nature do? It decays. It winds down. Your milk in your fridge right now isn't getting any fresher. It's getting worse, not better. Your car, the oil in your car isn't getting cleaner. It's getting dirtier. Everything is winding down due to entropy. And if that's what God lives in, then that means that He's winding down. Does that sound like eternal and all-powerful to you? Sure doesn't to me. Okay, what about the God of deism? We have in our history here in America, we have some very famous deists, guys like Benjamin Franklin, and we believe Thomas Jefferson, who were deists. Remember what deism is, right? It's the belief that God creates the universe, He gets the whole universe spinning, gets it going, poof, Bob's your uncle, there's the universe, and what does He do? He steps away from it, leaves it on its own. The God of deism is all-powerful, yes. He can create a universe. He is eternal. He is singular. But is he all-loving? How can you have an all-loving God who is an impersonal God? In order for God to love everyone, he has to be a personal God. You have to be able to have a relationship with him. If he is not able to approach you and you not him, how can there be love there? We understand that. So, deism, out. So what are we left with? Really, as I can conceive of it, to the best of my knowledge, that leaves us really only with 2 applicants. Congratulations, we've narrowed the field down to only 2 applicants, and they are Yahweh, the God of Christianity and Judaism, and Allah, the God of Islam. Now, before we say this next bit, I want to make sure that something is clear. It's not our attempt here at Apologetics Underground to ever offend anyone. If we attempt to be a little humorous, it's all meant in good fun and good humor. But it's not really something we have to worry about when we're talking about how Zeus doesn't exist. Because, I mean, who believes in Zeus? When was the last time you saw a church of Zeus on your street corner? Not too often, right? He only really exists on, bad late-night cable stations. But there are plenty of people who believe in Allah. In fact, depending on when you're watching this video, it could very well be the fastest growing religion in the world. And if you're a Muslim watching this, we don't want to offend you. We just want to do what we always do around here. Ask questions. So, let's go down the list for Allah, shall we? Let's consider him. Give him his day in court. Is he eternal? Completely. Is he singular? Completely. Is he all-powerful? Certainly. Is he all-knowing? Yes. Is he all-present? So it would seem. But there's a 6th one. Is he all-loving? And suddenly, at that last qualification, everything seems to fall apart. You see, I think if you read the Quran, which I encourage you to do, you will discover that Allah does love, but not everybody. In fact, he even seems to hate those who do not love him. So, for the Muslim, Allah only loves those who love him first. If there is a requirement to the love of God, to the love of your God, then with all due respect and in Christian love, your God can't be God. Because in order for him to be God, he has to be what? All-loving. And all-loving means there are no requirements to receiving that love. Now, what if I told you I do know a guy, though, that is all of those things simultaneously and unequivocally? Because remember, we have one applicant left. And in our next video, just like we did with the others, we're going to give him his turn in court. I almost hate to end this video here because there's so much left to talk about. But I don't want to put too much on you too fast. Take a moment, a little bit of a break. Think about what we've talked about today. Really start to ask questions about who must God be. Think through the examples we've given. But there's another video coming, because like we said, we've got one more left, and we need to know, is he eternal? Is he singular? Is he all-powerful? Is he all-knowing? Is he all-present? Is he all-loving? I think you'll be pleasantly surprised by the answer. But until then, we thank you for joining us here for this conversation on Apologetics Underground. See you next time. God bless.